I'm Roy Bexon. I do the physical side of the AGM. Planning starts usually around about January, where we decide on where the venue might be. Karen, bless her, takes on organising speakers or performers, so I just visit the site that we've decided upon, and I basically case the joint for you to see if it looks suitable. A number of criteria: we'd like somewhere that's comfortable, that's airy, that you can hear what's being said. If it's out of London, it needs to have good access or good parking. So we tend to be limited to where we go. As you may know, we used to go next door to the Performing Arts Library when it was available to us. This year we fortunately ended up here. My experience is that some venues are a delight to work with, and I include Denby's in that. It's been very straightforward. Others, like last year where we were up in London, was a little bit more challenging. But eventually you get there, and hopefully you like the way that the event is done. We've had the same format for many years. If you think it might benefit from a change, let me know and we'll think about it. And if you know of any exciting venues that we might go to that are reachable from our membership, then let me know as well. Thank you.
Right. When John initially said I just had a 2-hour slot, I was going to give you the complete history of the CD, but I'll have to cut it down a bit now. Anyway, basically it's about this, which is you won't be able to see this, but that's the discography, one page of 300 odd pages. I'll go so far as to say that the very first CD came out in 1982 in Japan, and it was The Visitors by ABBA. So I gave that one a miss. Although I have made up for it since. I've got the greatest hits. In the UK and Europe, CDs came out in March 1983, and it was at that point, when I had a few LPs and so on, that I decided I'll try and get a copy of every Vaughan Williams CD that's produced. Now, I mean, that sounds ridiculous. It didn't seem quite so ridiculous at the time, because for the first 5 years or so you could count them on the fingers of one hand. But as you all know, it's proliferated a lot since. And I think I've got it written down here, so I've got about 2,200 entries now in the discography, which is it's ordered on Michael Kennedy's book, which is the catalogue, and so it's in chronological order, and then the pieces are numbered according to that catalogue. In its Excel form you can reorder it more or less anywhere you want, but that's how it appears on the website. You can find it on the website in two formats, Excel or PDF. Basically, as I say, I started with the idea of collecting as many as I could, and I've gone on doing that. And about 2000 it went on to computer, when I got a new computer and decided I'd catalogue all my CDs. And then when I looked how many there were, I thought, well, I'll just leave it as Vaughan Williams, that part of it. So that's what I've done ever since, and it's grown and grown and grown. There are now dozens of CDs every year, as you probably know, which means I've got an acute shortage of shelving and very little money now. But I soldier on. There are a few highlights in there. For example, the complete symphonies conducted by Gennady Rozhdestvinsky with the State Symphony Orchestra of the USSR Ministry of Culture. That's quite interesting to look at. There's a Tallis Fantasia on marimba and percussion from the USA. And there was a very interesting Lark Ascending that came out a few months ago. You can imagine with 50 or 60 copies of the Lark Ascending that are being produced, it gets a bit boring cataloguing them, but when one came along with actual bird song on it, I thought this was a bit different. So I looked into it a bit more closely and discovered that there's marvellous, authentic sounding bird song on this recording, and I thought, where on earth have they got these marvellous bird recordings? And I looked a bit more closely, and apparently it's two Frenchmen doing impressions. Having said that, they're very good. They really are indistinguishable from the real thing. I think for the sake of boredom, they haven't just gone for the lark. I think there are the cockatoos and all sorts of things on there. But it's certainly worth a listen if you get bored. On a slightly more sombre note, there are also some Australian recordings of First World War poetry read to a background of things like the Talis Fantasia and Lark Ascending, which have come out in recent years. That's quite interesting. But anyway, I commend you to the website and have a look on there. And if you do come across any CDs that aren't on there, which you probably will, do let us know, and I'll try my best to find them. If you know where to get them, that's even better. So that's more or less it.
That's on the web as the comprehensive discography. We've also had in the past a selective discography, I can't even pronounce it, which tells you which are the best versions to buy. Stephen Connock went through 10 or 11 editions of that, and it hasn't been updated for some years. Stephen has retired to do other things, like that book, and so Ron Grames, an American member, is a reviewer of CDs. He's written for many years for Fanfare magazine, which is quite important in the US, though most of our English members won't have heard of it. But Ron is writing a lot of reviews for our journal now, and he's taken on the Select discography, and he's working his way through. We haven't decided in what format that will be produced, but it will be produced in some format, and probably next year. Now, Albion Records report. We are running out of time. I'm going to keep this fairly short. Albion Records was founded by Stephen Connock, and I worked with him on the finance side, of course. When he retired from that as well, he left me in charge, and you will hear plenty from me in Albion Records, so I'm not going to expand on that at great length. We're recording 5 discs this year. 2 of them are out and they're for sale, Earth and Sky and the Vaughan Williams Christmas, and I'm going to ask William Band to talk about those. 2 more William Band will also be in charge of in November, discs of songs, and the 5th CD is viola and piano music with Martin Outram and Julian Rolton. That's already been recorded, but we shall be completing the recording in December by adding the 4 hymns for tenor, viola and piano, that version, with Mark Padmore. So what I'd like to say about Albion generally is it's difficult to finance these recordings. Classical recordings make a loss these days. We need to raise funds for all of them. We're very grateful to members and the Vaughan Williams Charitable Trust who supported us. I'd also be grateful if more members would buy the discs. I cannot believe that we haven't sold a disc for all the 900 members, and so many discs. We sell more than 1,000. I can always rely on 1,000 to 1,500. I made 1,500 of the last 2. So 1, please buy the discs. If you're a member and you like the music, treat yourself. Secondly, if you've bought the disc and you like it, please leave me a 5 stars review on Amazon, wherever your local Amazon is. Amazon.co.uk for those in this country, Amazon.com in America, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazons all over the world. They all want 5-star reviews. If you like the disc only a bit and you think it's only worth 4 stars, please just go and have a nice cup of tea and forget about it. I want 5-star reviews, please.